Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Another episode of Bitcoin in Real Life. So, this episode, I like to talk about some current events, some news, and then, my experience with using Bitcoin in real life. So, um, I guess let's talk about some. Uh, well, let me just talk about my experience so far and some of the things that I'm doing. So, uh, it's been a while since I made my last video. I'm doing more and more things in the physical world where I'm meeting with people and trying to expand the use of Bitcoin. And it's it's it does take a longer to network in the real world, in real life. Um, it takes a little bit longer to get things going because you're interacting with people on a face-to-face physical um, meeting. Um, we have all this great technology where we can call each other and text each other and email each other and all that. But I think in the end, what really solidifies a transaction, an agreement, uh, you know, a meeting is the actual face-to-face kind of meetups that people do, and it's a different type of game when you do things like that, and it takes longer because of physical restraints. Um, but after you pass that initial hurdle, I think the hardest part is actually just getting different parties involved and having them to agree. Um, so things like that always happen. It happens right now without Bitcoin, but since I'm trying to bring Bitcoin into physical reality, those are some of the challenges that I face. But for the most part, it's always kind of been an overall plan of mine to do that and to try to meet as many people as I can who want to take on this endeavor. So, uh, so far, it's always challenging. Um, I'm starting to use less and less uh, of the old world banking infrastructure. Um, that way, I can be outside the system of the what I would call the dark overlord. And um, you know, once you step outside of that, um, what I would call regulated markets, uh, things start to open up for you, but also the risk open up as well. And there are risks to doing this in the physical world. Physical risk, as in you know physical injury, physical harm, physical liability. Accidents, stuff like that, getting hurt, physical damage, either through property or your person. So there's different challenges when you're trying to use Bitcoin in your real life, other than using your wallet to send and receive Bitcoins, but really using Bitcoin in a way that basically touches on your life, but the life of others and the life of uh, others who also use Bitcoin, either directly or indirectly. So far, my experience using Bitcoin without the banking infrastructure, it's possible. It's definitely possible and doable. It's it is a little bit more difficult because the physical restrictions of physical property. transportation of physical property, logistics of physical property, um, things of that nature. There are whole different set of challenges in the physical world. But as far as Bitcoin, I want to also address a lot of things about the whole block size debate, um, my experience or my feelings and experience uh, has been that maybe I'm not a programmer or anything or a developer, but I definitely am a user. Um, and so far, my experience in using Bitcoin has varied, and sometimes the blocks confirm instantly. Sometimes they confirm 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Sometimes a whole day, or even a couple days at one point. I've had transactions, an unknown transaction come to me. It's very strange. I had a fractional like 0.00000001 Bitcoin sent to me several different times on several different wallets, and some of them actually confirm, some of them don't get confirmed. I really do feel that when you're the number one, um, you are constantly under attack. When you're the number one cryptocurrency in market cap, uh, you know, anybody who uses it or the cryptocurrency itself, the blockchain, the wallets, you name it, they all come under attack. And my experience has been that despite these constant attacks, um, and where these attacks are coming from, I'm not sure. Some of this stuff really hasn't, uh, happened since the whole block size debate. Um, Now you're seeing people who are pro and con for whatever side. The attacks are virtual attacks are occurring on the blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain, and different Bitcoin websites and everything. Um, I find that very strange. Uh, so obviously there are external forces, or there are forces out there who are specifically targeting Bitcoin and trying to disrupt the growth and the adoption. Obviously, it's come to a point where it's a threat to whatever entity is trying to disrupt the growth of Bitcoin. Um, as far as the block size debate, I've had no issue. The wallet that I use, or the wallets that I use, and the all the other services regarding Bitcoin that I use are for the most part unaffected. Even when they had a huge backlog, it seems to be obvious that someone is trying to backlog um, the Bitcoin network, and it may have turned a lot of people off. It may have made a lot of people look into other, cryptocurrencies. Um, Whatever the case, I don't know anyone. Um, I personally don't know anybody who has sold all their Bitcoin for something else. Um, and people even who sell me all their Bitcoin are still involved in Bitcoin. My miners and everything. So, uh, and other traders. So, this whole thing that people are completely abandoning Bitcoin and going on to another cryptocurrency because of the block size debate, or they're not happy, or for whatever reason. I don't know anybody personally. I know a lot of people, you know, uh, kind of proclaim that, I watch other YouTube videos and read other forums. Uh, mostly just lurking because I'm not really interested in putting in feedback. I just like to get an idea of what people are doing, what are they talking about, to get an overall idea of the climate, or just the atmosphere of the cryptocurrency culture. And I do believe there are entities out there who are seeking to disrupt the growth of specifically Bitcoin. Because my experience with this whole block size debate, it's taking so long and everything, I've had no issues. I do add fees. I use several different wallets, and most of them use some kind of dynamic fee where, if there is network congestion, my fees are automatically adjusted. And surprisingly, some wallets automatically just have a higher fee. Other wallets, you can input your fee. Another wallet will just do just the right amount to get the transaction confirmed. All wallets are different. They have their uses, pros and cons, hot, cold, on your computer, on your drive, paper wallets, whatever they may be. But overall, I've had no issue with this whole block size debate, and I'm a heavy user. I'm an investor and a user of Bitcoin, and I would say I'm very heavy into it. So I've had no problems with using Bitcoin. The other thing is, there's been a trend with another cryptocurrency that everyone seems to be touting or saying that it's basically better than Bitcoin or going to replace Bitcoin and everything. And I guess it's time to address that, and this is kind of where the news comes in. There's been several exchanges, or at least one, I think Bitfinex. I do trade on Bitfinex. That's one of the exchanges I trade on. Has accepted, Ethereum, the token Ethereum. But there's a lot of exchanges that accept different alt currencies, and I don't have a problem with anybody using any type of cryptocurrency. I just have personally made a decision that Bitcoin is, the currency for me. The Bitcoin cryptocurrency, or the Bitcoin blockchain, is what I'm going to use. And a couple of reasons is I try to it takes a certain amount of risk to get involved in something at the very beginning. If I do something like that, I usually like to get in myself on something like that, build it up from the ground. But since I didn't invent Ethereum, I'm not gonna, I'm not a part of that. But usually what I would do is I would wait at least 3 years before even looking at something new. I would wait actually 5 years before I actually do something with any cryptocurrencies, if I was going to do anything. Mainly because any relatively new, anything that's less than 3 or even 5 years, old in cryptocurrencies is, I guess you could say it's a long time or a short time. I guess in the land of crypto world, um, 3 years is really a long time to be alive. 5 years is even longer. So if so any new cryptocurrency that comes out, if they can last 3 years, or still be around for 3 years, that's good news. And then on the fifth year, if they're actually being used for something practical in the physical world, or can be used in conjunction in the physical world for something, then I think there's something to it. But until then, just my personal opinion, I just don't get involved quite yet. And the other thing is, and I'm going to go to some other stuff, but the other thing I want to make note is that most of the time, if you know anything about being an angel investor or a seed investor or venture capitalism, what you're going to learn really quick is that the people who are the founders or the people who started whatever venture they're starting, as the first opportunity that they can take to cash out, they will. Okay, they're not in it because they like the company. They're not in it because they're in love with the venture or something that they like to do. They're only looking for money. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I usually don't get involved in something unless it's the third year, or even look at something until it reaches the third year. Before I actually maybe even put some money into something, I'll wait 5 years. It's just and even 3 to 5 years is still, in the physical world, that's a short time. In the crypto world, that's a long time. But in the physical world, that's not a long time. That's very short. I would say about 99% of anything that started usually fails within 3 years. And then even then, it's almost 99.99999%. It fails or stops being in existence after 5 years. Or it just doesn't do anything. It just stops. So those are some real experiences that these are things that I've just noticed and experienced. It doesn't mean things are going to fail for a particular cryptocurrency. That's just my opinion on it. But I did want to get into something a little bit more than that. And mainly, let's go back to one of my older videos here. And another reason why I'm not really moving away from Bitcoin, you can see I've been very busy. I've been doing a lot of gun videos here, something spring break, and Easter holiday, so I get a chance to do some of these things. But I want to go back to one of my earlier videos because I do have certain reservations when it comes to okay, this one in particular, Bitcoin Trade episode 257. That was the episode that I went to San Francisco, and that's the picture of the Glen Park Library. And in that episode, I said a lot of crazy things, didn't I? But most importantly, I did say that it's kind of weird, but I did predict that receive, R3, CEV, receive, would somehow be involved in something. I also kind of predicted a day of of when there would be some kind of price movement, which did happen. That was the day that Mike Hearn came out with his blog and basically denounced Bitcoin or forsake Bitcoin for the most part. But in that video, I did mention that you will have to fight your way into the new world. I've said many times that you will also be deceived. You will be led astray, and eventually you'll be killed. And I've said that many times in previous videos, but I'll say it again today, right now. Also, I do feel strongly that receive, R3CEV, receive, just the word itself, receive, and just the way it's written. I mean, I want to see if I can find a logo. Let me see if I can find a logo. Let me see here. That's our logo. Well, if you look at it, I mean, it looks like it's R3CEV, but if you really look at it, that 3 is a backwards E, so it's basically receive. A lot of people say R3CEV or R3CIV. Well, if you really look at it, and if you know anything about how the Dark Overlord works, the greatest power that the Dark Overlord has is deception. So when I look at this, I'm looking at it because it looks a little deceptive. Looks like this R3CEV, a cute little name. But when I look at it, it's a backwards E. So if you really look at it, it almost looks like receive. And what would you be receiving? You would be receiving the mark of the beast, is what you would be receiving. And not only that, but the 3 in there. Well, if y'all know anything about receiving the mark of the beast, what number would that be? 666. 3. Receive. So, anyways, and just look who's all behind R3CEV, R3CIV, or what I like to call it, receive. You're looking at all things of the old world trying to hijack the creator's invention. And basically I think that's what they're doing, and calling it their own, and not only that, but claiming to be better. And so in my opinion, anything that's connected to receive is, for me, receive is nothing more than the apparatus for the Dark Overlord. And if I've mentioned it in this video here, in this particular video, Bitcoin Trade 257, and so that's kind of why I would stay away from anything that receive is involved in. All those banks that are involved in receive are also all the same banks that have closed my accounts. I find that very interesting. Well, no, not all of them, but there's a few in there that have closed my accounts. Anyways, there's a lot of things that are going on that I think are just strange, just too coinky dinky to be Coinkydink. But that's just my opinion. So another thing is, and I don't know if this is related. Maybe I'm just getting too, conspiracy theory on this. But the programming language to run the Ethereum blockchain is called Serpent. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. But I did mention in this particular video right here that the two worlds cannot coexist. One must die for the other to survive. So, like I said, you're gonna have to fight your way to the new world. There's no question about it. I've already kind of mentioned it. I've already said it. The other issue, or the other thing, from what I understand, is anything. That's just my feelings. My strong feelings is anything that this entity does is nothing more than an apparatus of the Dark Overlord. And I would recommend you stay away. I like making money just as much as the other person. I do have a lot of Bitcoins, but I've been through the all-time high, and I've been riding that all-time high all the way down till now, and overall, I've made money, and on top of that, I've made Bitcoins. So I guess you could say if I have a particular position and reason to not like receive, yeah, I do. But also, there's just something telling me something ain't right. I've often looked into other cryptocurrencies, but every time there's always something telling me or something preventing me from going into these other cryptocurrencies. It's almost like something's telling me to say, not yet, don't go there. Not yet, don't go there yet. Just hold on, wait for it. Just wait for it. Just matter of fact, don't even go there, just wait and watch what happens. And and that's the feeling I get when I look at what Receive is doing. In my honest opinion, I think this company is nothing more than going to be. When you're involved with this company, you're not. What you're doing is you're just receiving the mark of the beast, is what you're doing. And there's a lot of things in. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm paranoid, but I did call it out on this particular video right here, Bitcoin Trade 257, in which I did say that you're gonna have to fight your way into the new world. And not only that, but these two worlds cannot coexist. It's come to that point where one must die for the other to survive. And so, it's not, I don't want to get too, I don't want to scare anyone, but, I think you're looking at the beginning of the beginning or the beginning of the end, one or the other. So I also mentioned in that episode that the revolution has begun, and it's already being accelerated. You're seeing this apparatus being used to start that accelerated process, and for some reason they've chosen the Ethereum blockchain, which uses the programming language Serpent, which I'm not a programmer, this is what I've heard. But I find that all very strange how um, that just all connects to the Dark Overlord. And I'm not even sure, but I think Receive is in New York City, which I've said that's where the Dark Overlord resides. And so, just a lot of weirdness. A lot of weirdness. Anyways, for people who want to get into other cryptocurrencies, that's fine. I'm all for it. And the people involved in these companies, I'm not saying they're evil or bad in any way. I honestly believe a lot of people who are getting into Receive or the Ethereum blockchain, they're really good people. They just don't know who they're really working for. They have no idea. These people probably, think they're doing a great job. They're improving the world. They're getting paid, and what's wrong with that? If they only knew that Receive is just an apparatus of the Dark Overlord to basically get into the crypto space, in which the creator actually was in that space before, with Bitcoin. This isn't surprising to me at all. This is your, this is it right here. This is what you're going to be facing against, and it's called Receive for a reason, because you are to receive the mark of the beast, which is 666 R3 receive the mark of the beast right there. So anyways, crazy theory, I don't know. Conspiracy, I don't know. Have you seen some of my previous videos? I've had some crazy theories, and some of them pan out to be pretty darn true. Specifically, this one. It's just eerie how ever since I made that particular video, this particular video, that you're seeing more split between the block size debate. You're seeing people calling out the death of Bitcoin. You're seeing another cryptocurrency all of a sudden rise in value, and seems like gaining a momentum as far as price. As far as adoption, I don't know anybody using Ethereum. I don't know anybody who is willing to sell Ethereum to me, or I don't know where to even buy Ethereum. Well, I do. I can go on Bitfinex or Poloniex, Shapeshift, and all that, but I don't do that. So another thing is, there's no liquidity markets with the token Ethereum, and so I feel that the rise in prices is due to an influx of money going into it, but not money coming out. And so as you see these exchanges and liquidity start opening up with Ethereum, just like Litecoin or Bitcoin or Darkcoin, the problem with Bitfinex also had Darkcoin, and then they dropped Darkcoin because of low volume. I'm actually glad they took on Ethereum, because I like to see their volume in on that exchange to see how much activity really is going on. Because when the liquidity markets start to open up, it gives a lot of people, i.e. those early seed investors, those early founders, a way to cash out. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, 99.99999% of the time, like any IPO or any chance that a seed investor has the chance to cash out with profit, they will. After that point, whether it does well or not, I guess it's up to the users of the token themselves. The blockchain, the Ethereum blockchain itself, I don't know. I don't know what that's about. It seems like a lot of from what I can tell, Receive and other companies like it like to use the Ethereum blockchain for private use, and I don't know what's going to come of it. Again, we'll see in 3 years or on the third year if it still is there and still continues. Then it does become a threat to Bitcoin. And I like to address some of the other parts of, um, of Bitcoin, which is, um, you know, it's very natural to be hostile against something that's going to be competing against you. It's always been that way. That's why the old world system is very hostile to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a threat to their world, to the old world, because Bitcoin represents the new world. Now, does Ethereum represents the new world? I don't know. I guess anything's possible, but if you ask me, I just don't have a good feeling, and sometimes, you know, when there's some things that you just will never have a factual proof or anything, but you just have this gut feeling or intuition, or you just have some kind of insight, or maybe there's just something telling you not to go there. And if there's something that you're not comfortable with, then by all means don't go there. Avoid as much as you can. I'm just getting a weird vibe. I'm just getting weird feelings when it comes to anything that Receive is involved in. I called it out right before the whole My Current incident, and then I think things start really getting bad after that, as far as attacks on the image of Bitcoin, the blockchain of Bitcoin, and the network of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin the currency itself. Ever since I've called that out, I'm seeing a greater divide on this whole blockchain, block size debate, which I don't think there really is much of a debate out there, because I've noticed no disruptions or no problems whatsoever. Then again, I'm not on a larger scale as some, but at the same time, I am a heavy user of Bitcoin, so I've had no, for its intended use, I guess, or the use that how I'm using it, I have no problems with whatsoever. But as far as using other cryptocurrencies, I tend to avoid them for practical reasons, but I'm not trying to bash any particular cryptocurrency. I just have my reservations when a company like this, that I've warned all of you about, to whatever they're doing, and the people of this entity, they probably are good people. I don't think they just realize that they are an apparatus of the Dark Overlord, because the Dark Overlord's greatest power is deception. And so I just think this is a really bad omen. It's a bad omen. It is the Dark Overlord trying to gain control of the crypto world, trying to penetrate, infiltrate, and then also create division, which the Dark Overlord is really good at, creating division, creating distrust, creating havoc, misunderstanding, misdirection, um, you know, systematically attacking without anybody ever knowing. So, these are all signs, the tactics and the powers of the Dark Overlord. Uh, I would highly recommend anything that this company does, this entity does. Be wary. If they're involved in Ethereum in any way, be wary. If they're involved with all those banks, be wary. Okay, because the last thing you want to do, and me included, is to receive the mark of the beast. Receive, everyone. R3CEV. Receive. I don't know how else to say it. Receive the mark of the beast. Hello.
Hello.
Say hi.
Hi.
You want some candy, huh? That's why you're over here. Okay. Anyways, this concludes my episode. Please feel free to leave a comment, like, dislike, even do a video response. Also, if you think I'm just out there crazy, check out this particular episode where I specifically talk about Receive and some things that are going to happen on a particular time frame, which it did happen. That's when news of Mike Hearn leaving, basically, deserting Bitcoin came out, and then after that, all of a sudden, the division within the Bitcoin community, all of a sudden Ethereum starts taking off, people start talking about Ethereum and all that. It almost seems like it's a planned, coordinated attack, a well-planned, coordinated attack. I mean, it just seems like it. And I think, and here's the weird part, if another cryptocurrency, or Ethereum in particular, does take over Bitcoin, here's the weird part. They never get attacked. They never get attacked. They never have any complications, because the people who are attacking Bitcoin are probably the ones that are also, in my opinion, would be the ones, involved in the new top coin. And whether that's good or bad, I mean, whatever it is, I personally will know. I'm not going to stop trading Bitcoin, because I don't know anybody who does not trade Bitcoin or want Bitcoin. I have not met anyone or talked to anyone who wants, who wants Ethereum. I've had a discussion with one of my traders about Litecoin, but no one comes to me and says, hey, I need some Bitcoin. Or, I'm sorry, hey, I need some Ethereum. No one comes to me for that. And I think the only way before the exchanges took on Ethereum, the only way you can get Ethereum was buying Bitcoin. But now that there's exchanges offering Ethereum, I don't even see people selling Ethereum like they do with Bitcoin. I haven't seen anybody try to offer me Ethereum. I know that a lot of people trade Bitcoin with me. You would think any of those people I've traded Bitcoin got into Ethereum would want me to get into Ethereum, but no one's hit me up. So I don't know if they know I'm not going to take Ethereum, because here's the thing about when exchanges start accepting your coins. All right, and there was a recent article, the guy who created Merino Coin, and basically saying these are all scams, they're all pump and dump. Because if I was to get into Ethereum, you know what I would do? I would specifically mine Ethereum or buy Ethereum to dump it out in the exchange so I can buy Bitcoin. That's what I would do. So as soon as these markets start opening up and liquidity is involved, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. And vice versa. And now you have to consider Bitcoin has already been trading on these exchanges, and people have been basically, using Bitcoin to dump to get money, and maybe get money out. I'm not sure if they're trying to get into another coin, but when you start getting into coins now, a coin traded against another coin, another cryptocurrency traded against another cryptocurrency, you go into another whole intercurrency war. Okay, anyone can mine for Bitcoins. Of course, it's going to be hard, but you can go ahead and dump all your Bitcoins on these exchanges and then buy Ether, and then vice versa. Okay, vice versa. You can mine for Ether, or you can buy all the Ether in the world, dump them on the exchanges, right, to go buy Bitcoin. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen, because it looks like we're getting into a cryptocurrency war. Now it's almost extended. Something's going on. I feel that there is something happening, and something's about to happen. Things are coming in a way that I think is just too weird. First, you had the civil war within Bitcoin. Now you're getting a cryptocurrency war, along with the war against currency itself, the currency war. So this war is actually really spreading rapidly. The secret war, currency war. You're getting a civil war within Bitcoin, supposedly. Now you're getting an cryptocurrency war going on. And whether this battle will be manifested into reality, or will it just stay virtual, I don't know. But I think we're really walking on thin ice. We're getting into new territory here, and I've said it in this episode, you will, and I'm going to say you will. I'm not going to say you might be, or there could be a good chance. You will have to fight for your life to make it into whatever world you want to make, to the new world, to the ether world, whatever world you want to get into. The signs are all there that we're all going to have to fight our way into, well, I'm going to be fighting my way into the new world. But it's all the signs are starting to show. And I guess do a little self-promotion. Maybe some of you are into guns, some of you aren't. I'm not really into guns, but I am into self-defense, and I've been really preparing myself for things to come. I do a lot of videos that of recent that are related to self-defense. So anyways, let me conclude this episode, and let me just end it off with this again. Be careful. Beware. Don't keep your guard up, because I think there's something going on with this particular entity. I believe it to be the apparatus of the Dark Overlord, so that those who are aligned with the Dark Overlord may receive the mark of the beast. So anyways, I'll end this episode. Until next time, stay tuned.